Okay, here we are over in Newark, New Jersey. Fire Escape Engineers, 866-649-0333. We're doing a load test pre-evaluation. This is the inspector's summary video. Okay, we have fire escape that appears to be pre-1978, so any work done on it, you need an EPA renovator's license due to the lead in the paint. This must be structurally sound and painted. First issue, we have a connection for the counterweight that's been done with chain, but the cable itself is suspect and appears to need replacing. We have our platform here. Basically, we're on the first fire escape, and the first fire escape has a platform and a ladder with a counterweight. So we have many riveted connections, as you can see here. We can't evaluate the rivet, but if you do bolt it, that would eliminate the need to do a x-ray on the rivet itself. We have some rust, nothing too much. This has been painted and has been maintained. It's pre-existing and non-conforming. So you can see again, we have on the railing, we have riveted connections. You can see here, and anywhere there's a slat, basically there's a riveted connection, except where it meets the angle. The angle, you have a bolted connection. Some of the bolts are older and will need replacing. Again, it's been painted, but there are issues as far as the counterweight for the ladder, and it's hard to evaluate the rivets themselves, so the preference would be to replace those with bolts. And then we do have a couple issues with the connection into the wall. You can see right here, it's rusted. Water can get in there. There is a little deterioration of the brick, and this has to be addressed. Okay. We also had an issue when I came in on the fire escape with some blockage with a photocopy machine and a table. The table's since been moved, but there is some blockage there. Again, we have this connection here into the wall, and that's got to be looked at. It's got to be sealed better. We don't really know if there's been any deterioration, so we have to look at that a little bit better. Okay, this is fire escape number 1, and we are continuing on. There are 2 other fire escapes to look at. Okay, Fire Escape Engineers, we're over here on James Street in Newark. This is fire escape number 2. This is Fire Escape Engineers, 866-649-0333. We're performing a load test pre-evaluation. This structure must be structurally sound and painted. It's legally pre-existing, non-conforming. The fire escape appears to be before 1978, and that means you cannot weld on this, and you need an EPA renovator's license to work on the painting and scraping. Okay, let's start out. This is kind of a combination with the first fire escape that we just looked at. This is the system to hold the counterweight up here. It comes off the railing. There's a bracket that goes down, and that's related to the first fire escape. We look, we have some rusting around the bolts here, and there are some issues with the connection into the building. There's some spalling, and that needs to be repacked and sealed. Okay, again, we have all riveted connections. We can't perform a load test because we do not know the conditions of these rivets. It'd be best to replace them with bolts. You can see some older bolts. There's a little bit of rusting. This is due for another paint job. It has been maintained, but it's due for another paint job. As you can see over here, you can see this connection here. It is spalling. It's got to be sealed. You can see there's some problems here as far as the connection of the railing into the wall itself, and also the same condition is for the platform. Where the angle goes in for the platform, you can see the spalling, and that needs to be repacked and then sealed. Okay. Now we're coming down onto the stairs, and what we have as far as the treads themselves, the treads are one piece. It bends, and then it's bolted on. It's a prefabricated tread. It's typical of this time, and as you look underneath, you can see the typical condition here. There's bolts, and the bolts are there's some rusting on the bolts. If you look here, it's been painted over. There's a little rust jacking on this tread. You can see moss growing here, which is an indication that there's some rust and water accumulates. So what you need to do is pull the tread, replace the bolts. You got to seal on the stringer. You got to prime it, and then seal it, and then paint it. Okay, this is a typical condition. We're going to run down these stairs here, and you're going to see the same condition. No matter, each one's about the same. The bolts are holding, but they are starting to deteriorate, and each tread and bolt and the connection to the stringer is the same. As far as the railing looks like a 3/4 inch solid rod, and then there's a bar that holds the rod up. This is pre-existing condition and non-conforming. Okay, and again we are looking at the treads. The treads are the same condition. Bolts underneath, and yeah, sun's fighting me on this one. There you can see the condition of the bolts. They're semi-rusted and are due for replacement. Okay, platform. You can see this particular bar is starting to fold up. It needs to be bolted in. All these bars on the end are pushing up. So that indicates two things. One, at that location we need to bolt it, and it also means that these rivets are starting to fail. So the rivets need to be replaced with bolts. And then you can see in the corner here, the rust has been painted over. Some of these bolts need to be replaced. And we have the same condition at the rail. We have, again, a connection into the wall. It needs to be repacked and it needs to be sealed. Same thing as we go down at the platform level, the same type of spalling. We can't see what kind of rusting's going in there, but again, repacked and sealed. This particular one looks a little bit better, but it's a typical condition. This is a pass-fail. This is what this particular test is about, just pass-fail. As you can see on this particular counterweight, it needs some addressing. Some of this debris, you can see the little pipe has failed, and debris can get in there, and that, if anything falls in and jams, you could hamper the counterweight. There could be friction on the counterweight, and that would keep the ladder from descending. The cable itself looks older. All the rungs are the same. They punch through. So as far as the rungs were okay, but again, this counterweight needs to be addressed, and the cable has to be looked at. There was a fear of people jumping up on this and pulling the counterweight down, so you can put in a release mechanism up at this level. Alright, this concludes fire escape number 2, Fire Escape Engineers. Okay, Fire Escape Engineers, we're on fire escape number 3, Rutgers, over in Newark. This is Fire Escape Engineers, 866-649-0333. We're performing a load test, pre-evaluation. This structure must be structurally sound and painted. This is legally pre-existing, non-conforming. It's pre-1978, and you need an EPA renovators to work on this. The issues on this fire escape are similar to the other 2 fire escapes. First of all, we have riveted connections. The riveted connections, some of them are starting to fail. Best to replace with bolts. We got some rusting here, but this has been semi-maintained. We have some issues with the connections into the wall. It's not apparent here, but on the other fire escapes there was definitely some connection issues into the wall. You can see here, for instance, we've got a bad connection into the wall. There's spalling on an old repair. That's got to be repacked, cleaned out, and sealed. We also have a particularly bad issue here as far as the connection for the counterweight. You can see this thing's rocking all over the place. The bolt's completely missing there. So we have a big problem there. That's got to be re-anchored. We got some issues with the cable itself. It's old, needs replacement. We definitely have an issue over here as far as the counterweight. First of all, the strap they used is going to cut into that cable. It's not a proper installation, and the counterweight is all rusted. Again, that rust can get into the guide and freeze up the counterweight. This has to be cleaned up and resealed. Again, we got issues on the platform, riveted connections, and then as we go up, we got the same issues as far as the stringers. The stringers and the treads. The treads bend over. They're one piece, and then they're bolted in. You can see all kinds of old rust there on that bolt. These bolts need to be pulled and replaced. When you replace it, you prime, you put the new step in, you paint, and then you put a silicone seal in. Okay, this is a pass-fail test. Again, legally pre-existing non-conforming. So we got the same issues here. We've got a railing. Let me do this. We've got the treads. There is a little bit of old rusting in there. You can see it's painted over. Same issues. You can go on and on with the rusted bolts, and even though they're painted, they're older, they need replacement. The connection on this particular bracket is good. You can see the through bolt, good meat, and it appears to go into the brick as it should. No problems there, but there are other areas where it's definitely a problem. Then we're up on the third floor. Same issues. We've got riveted connections. So again, we've got some rusting connection, and then the rail itself over here, you can see it's all spoiled. That's got to be packed, fixed, and sealed. And then we have, if you look here, this is the access to the fire escape from the window. Although it's blocked off, there's no steel to here, so that has to be discussed with the local authorities. All right. And then the only other problem we had here is that we have some things blocking the window. That's typical on the inside. So that concludes fire escape number 3 for Rutgers. Oh, and just this, another bad connection here. All right, and some of the brick has to be replaced. Fire escape engineers.